I've created thousands of thumbnails for the top creators on YouTube. After years of mastering the art of thumbnail design, here are some of the strategies I use to grab the attention of potential viewers and gain your click. I'm going to break down the secrets used by top creators so that you can gain more clicks on your thumbnails. Before we dive into the secrets, why are thumbnails so important? Well, before anyone even watches your video, they see this, your thumbnail. It's like your video's first impression, your billboard, your marketing for the video. And above all, the crazy thing is that you can have an amazing video, but if you have a bad thumbnail, nobody is ever going to see that video. Now, how do we get people to see that video? Well, you got to make sure your thumbnail is clickable. And the way to do this is to grab attention, spark some curiosity, and promise a payoff. But before we even begin to think about those rules, we need to have an idea. And this brings us to where great thumbnails begin. Behind every great thumbnail isn't just a great designer, it's a great mind. Someone had to come up with the idea for this thumbnail. The ideation phase is the most crucial part of your design, because without a good idea cannot come a great design. But how do you even think about a great idea for a thumbnail? A lot of people like to say study the thumbnails in your niche, but I actually think you should be doing the opposite. Now look, thumbnails are all about standing out, and if you're just gonna copy the same thumbnails that are already in your niche, you're not gonna stand out at all. So with that being said, go outside of your niche. Don't be afraid to play with new ideas and bring whole new concepts into your thumbnails. You can even take things a step further by studying things like movie posters or billboards, or the art on magazine covers. All of those serve the same purpose, to grab your attention. So once you think of a great idea, now's the time to start sketching out your idea and bring it to its first stage of life. Something I like to do for some of my clients is I like to sketch out ideas for them, just so that they can get a great visual of the idea I'm trying to propose. And this can help many of you as well. Oh, and when you're gathering your assets, maybe taking photos of yourself, make sure that the composition is great, that you're lit properly, and that you are fully in focus. These kind of things can make or break a thumbnail, especially if you're going for a realistic look. Now, let's talk about composition. This is where a lot of people go wrong. Great creators have mastered the art of great composition. Most of the top creators' thumbnails are not crowded. Everything is placed in a well thought out spot on the canvas. Your thumbnail should also be like a well-designed highway where the path for the eye is easy to follow and clear to understand. Too many elements in your thumbnails can make your viewers overthink. If your viewer can't understand what's going on in the thumbnail right away, they're not gonna click on it. Thumbnails are a game of grabbing people's attention as quickly as possible. A great way to have a clear and easy to understand composition is by using the rule of thirds. Now imagine your thumbnail divided evenly into 9 equal parts. You can easily create this by using grid lines in Photoshop, but the whole point of the rule of thirds is to place all your most important elements in those cross sections or in between the cross sections. Now, if you follow the rule of thirds correctly, you're gonna have a thumbnail that's naturally easy for the eye to follow. And that's exactly what we want. Now, how do top creators make their thumbnails pop and stand out on the YouTube home screen? You need to make sure your thumbnails are bright and bold and that they stand out to your viewer when everyone else on YouTube is trying to get their attention at the same time. Be sure to make adjustments to your brightness, contrast, and vibrance, but make sure you don't overdo it because it's super easy to go a little too overboard. You want to find that happy medium that still looks realistic but also pops a lot. Bright and poppy colors naturally draw the eye, but you need to have balance. Also, don't make dumb mistakes like putting white text against a also white background. Make sure all the important elements in your thumbnail stand out as much as possible, especially your 1 to 3 words of text. But here's what separates great creators' thumbnails from just the average thumbnail: their use of color psychology. Now, naturally, different colors can evoke different emotions in humans' brains, and you can use this to your advantage. Let me give you a few examples. The color red displays urgency and excitement, maybe even danger. You can use it for anything high stakes, countdowns, or just to get the adrenaline pumping. Now, to contrast that, blue is the calm in the storm. It's trustworthy and professional and naturally makes humans calmer. Green is one of my favorites, displaying health, growth, and finance. This makes your viewers feel refreshed and motivated. Now, here's where the magic actually starts with color psychology, combining these colors together. One of the easiest ways to do that is by using complementary colors. Now, complementary colors are colors that are opposite of each other on the color wheel. And when placed next to each other, they create a high contrast, vibrant look that immediately catches the eye. Complementary colors are only a few strategies you can use on the color wheel, so do some more research on color theory if you'd like. Now, the main purpose of your thumbnail is to create a visual story for the audience. You want to make sure there's something that piques the audience's interest. What's the most interesting part of your video? What's the best way to showcase that? Maybe it's by showcasing the scale of something or the price tag of something else. Maybe it's a raw, unfiltered shot of you just talking, because that's the kind of authenticity you want to give off. If you're creating a podcast thumbnail, what was the quote of the show? What's something you can include in your thumbnail so that viewers need to click to get the answer to? Now, here's the real secret: intrigue. Your thumbnails should make people ask questions. They should open an unclosed loop that they can only close by clicking on your video and watching it. It should tease at a big payoff or a big question being answered to. You want to tease a story that only your video can show. That's how you get curiosity clicks. Now, we have to make sure we don't go too far with all the strategies I've shared. You want to make sure your video actually delivers on what your thumbnail is showing, or else you've just clickbaited your audience and they won't forget it. You need to validate that click in the first few seconds, or you risk losing your audience or checking YouTube Studio just to see that your AVD has dropped significantly. Remember that designing a thumbnail is mostly strategy, not art. You don't have to be the best in the world at Photoshop to make a killer thumbnail. A killer idea always beats a killer looking thumbnail. Remember that your thumbnail is the most important part of your video, because without a good thumbnail, you'll get no clicks. With all that being said, I hope this video helped you learn new techniques that you can use in your next thumbnail. If you want to learn more about creating thumbnails, check out my other videos on this channel. And stick around if you like this kind of stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.